Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show. The show is about conversations that matter, and we're very excited to have yet another interview with someone who is transforming lives one story at a time. I'd like you to meet Angela Brown. She's an author, speaker, and coach. And on December 16th, 2012, after attending a business event, someone T-boned her car. And the accident may have only lasted 30 seconds, but it totally changed her life forever. Angela said, I endured many months of pain and agony, been told that I have whiplash, and it would get better with time. And with surgery and all the parts of recovery, Angela's life has changed tremendously. And at this point, her neck is 95% fused, and any other further injury could mean being paralyzed or dead. But even though she still suffers from pain and symptoms from post-traumatic stress disorder, Angela gets out of bed each day with the focus to help others. Angela Brown, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So, Angela, let's get to it. Tell us about your background leading up to what you're doing today.
Okay, so originally I was in the financial field, but because of medical injury and also the company was sold, I was let go. I took a course in early childhood education. I was working in the educational field for about 6 years, up until December 12th, 2012, when I had the car accident. After the surgery, my doctor told me that I just needed to retire because there was no way I could go back to work, working with children. For a while, I was lonely and was at home, but I decided to take to go back to my financial field, and then I was so I'm a licensed financial advisor. Someone approached me in 2017 about writing a book. I was kind of scared, and I didn't think that my story was that interesting that anybody would care about it. But she convinced me that she was doing this book project, and there was 11 other women, myself included, would be 12. And she just wanted us to share a chapter about our lives and challenges we've gone through. So that's how I first became an author with the first book, which is called The Courage to Change. And basically, it's women showing how they changed their lives from different circumstances. Some women had post-traumatic stress disorder. Some had fibromyalgia or depression, loss of a spouse, and how they overcame. And my chapter was basically how I overcame the many challenges of the illnesses that I have.
Well,
go ahead.
No, that's excellent. It takes a lot of courage, for one, to be so vulnerable like that, to share a lot of pivotal moments in your life. But I think it's also very releasing, right? To do something like that, to put it on, to publish your experiences. So I congratulate you. I know how it can be challenging releasing a book, but you have how many books out now?
One book are published, and I'm working on my second book, which should be published in May.
Excellent. And what's the new book called?
The Miracle of God. How 30 seconds changed my life.
Well, Angela, can you take us back to that day when you were at the site where you were just kind of coming out of that T-bone experience? Can you, if you can you share that transformational moment at that point? What happened and how you felt after?
The car was approaching the intersection. I was going straight, and she forgot. I guess stopped. She didn't stop at the intersection. She wasn't paying attention, and she slammed into the driver's side of my car. So my car was spun around 2 times.
Wow!
And then it landed in the traffic post. I don't remember it spinning around, but I was told by the police were told by witnesses that the car spun around a few times, and then I landed in the traffic post. I was taken to the hospital, told I had whiplash and told to go home and, everything could be okay. I was like literally in shock after the accident. Like I was like doing things that I don't even remember now, but I remember I called my daughter apparently, and I told her that I was in the traffic post. And then I hung up on her. And, of course, that was pretty traumatized for her because she just didn't understand what was going on. Finally, I did ask the paramedics if I could call her back, and I explained what happened, and she met me at the hospital, and so did my sister. And I was in a lot of pain for a while, and the pain was getting worse. I was told to do physiotherapy and massage therapy. So I tried that, but every time I went to therapy, I got worse. Finally, my doctor sent me to a neurologist who ordered an MRI. She called me 3 days after the MRI and told me to go to the emergency ward and check myself in. And I was just like, what do you mean? She's like, your neck is unstable. I just like, what does that mean? And she's like, when you get there, they'll explain it to you. It was when the doctor told me that my neck was actually broken.
Oh, my God.
That the bone was actually, like, literally off. The skull was actually off the bone, like how it was supposed to be connected together, but it was actually off. And by going to physio and all those other things, I was continually making my injury worse. And he said that, I could do surgery. I may never be able to move my neck, or I may never be able to walk or talk because they have to put a tube down to my vocal cords. It was just all surreal. This was about midnight. It took, this was 6 months after the accident that they realized that my neck was broken.
Oh, my God. I can't imagine that kind of pain.
No.
To be walking around with that injury for so long. And it not being detected for, how long did it take? Like a month after before they realized?
6 months.
6 months, Angela. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Well, so now you're at a place where you're recovering and you have a lot of faith that is grounding you, and you published one book, and now you're on another book, which will be published in May, called Miracle of God, is that right? God. The Miracle of God. Can you tell us a little bit about the book, and what do you intend the reader to learn from this book? Okay. What should they understand from this book?
Well, I've gone through a lot of different medical challenges, and I've had 7 surgeries. Each surgery has been something that's life or death. Like I was born with a congenital heart disease. I had 3 holes in my heart. They told my mom, I may not even survive. I went to Jamaica, and I was with my grandmother. So I was 8 years old, and my mom was in Canada. And they told her she needed to get me surgery, ASAP, because I wasn't going to survive. And when I came to Canada, the doctor told me that I was a miracle because the amount of the injury that I have, a lot of people wouldn't go through that for 3 holes in your heart. So up until 8 years old. So that was a miracle in itself. And I've had other surgeries and other things that have happened in my life. And each time I heard so many times that you're a milker of God. The doctor, just by the fact that the doctor who did my open heart surgery was getting ready to retire. And he was the best of the best. He was teaching other people how to be cardiologists. So just to get him to do my surgery, I was his last surgery because he was on the beds of retirement. So being told that I was a miracle, I didn't believe I was a miracle. I knew I said God put me here for a purpose, but I didn't know what it was. And then after the accident and after I wrote the first book, I realized, what God put me here to help other people, to share my experiences with them, especially women, to show that you can come back after a diagnosis. A lot of people, you're not your diagnosis. You can live a full and complete life. You can survive. And that's what I want people to be inspired by my book, and also to know that this can happen to anybody. So
it can happen to anybody, and you can recover from this. You can't bounce back with this.
Exactly, especially if you have faith in God, because that was a big part for me, was my faith in God. You know, I had like with people from my church that were coming, making meals for me. You know, I had the church praying for me. You know, while I was in the hospital, you know, they said they prayed every day. They prayed every Sunday. They had, you know, it was just awesome to know that so many people out there cared about me. And
yes.
And then I realized that, yeah, you know, I am the miracle of God. And that was the reasons for the title for the book, because now I realize that I am a miracle. But I'm here not just to still hold it in, but to share it with other people and to help other people. Right? To know that, I mean, I still have other health conditions that are not curable. They're just something that I have to live with. But I don't sit back and I don't worry about them. You know, I think my family worries about them more than I do. Right? About things I do. Why are you doing this? You're doing too much. You know, you're doing too much. So, but I just keep going. God is getting me through it. I remember when I got married, they told me that I couldn't have any children because of my heart condition. That it would not be recommended to have a child. I could possibly die, and my child could possibly have heart condition. But I had a child. I got pregnant anyways, and I had my daughter, and she's like my miracle child. So, you know, you can do things even if the doctor tells you that you can't. Like, I'm not saying to disregard doctors' advice and opinion, but they're just like men like us. They're just human like us. Right? So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I have to say that, you know, I've just been so inspired by listening to just your strength. You know, you've come through an incredible fire, and you've taken all these experiences to really help others in ways that I can't even imagine. So I really thank you for everything that you've done and will continue to do. And I have to say that even now, as we are in a very challenging time with COVID-19, I have so much more respect for the early responders and the doctors and the nurses and all the medical professionals and how they're really being so selfless right now to help so many people. So in that respect, what advice or what type of hopeful message could you give the listeners about how to adjust through these trying times?
I know it's difficult being at home. It can be lonely, but just find things that you can do. You know, online. Take advantage of the technologies that we have. You know, I just finished a yoga class online with my yoga.
Wow, yoga.
Yes. So, you know, there's just so many things that you could do there. Like I was Zoom. I don't know if people have used it, or Skype. You know, to talk to family members that you're missing, right? So that you still feel connected to other people. You know, join a social group on Facebook or something where you can reach out to other people and share your stories, and they can share theirs with you. Because that's what I do a lot too. People say, "Oh, I have this. I don't know what to do." Ask for advice. You help them, and others help you through what you're going through. It really is. That's what you need, just to keep reaching out to other people and be sociable, even though you can't physically meet them in person.
Excellent. So, although there is distance that is being suggested for everyone to maintain their good health, you can still stay connected through so many ways, through phone call, through virtual chats, through social media, so you can still stay connected. Excellent. Well, Angela, thank you so much for sharing your amazing story. And how can people connect with you on social media, and how can they purchase the book?
My website is called AngelaBBrown.com. That's my website, and they can email me at themiracleofgodbook.com.
Okay. So they can go to your website, and they can also email you are you on Instagram or Facebook?
Yes, I am. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
Angela Brown.
Okay, so just type in Angela Brown, and they'll find you there.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Angela. We appreciate you. You've been listening to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show with another inspirational guest, Angela Brown. She's the author of a couple of books, and her latest release is Miracle of God, which will be launched in May. So please connect with her on social media. And, Angela, all the best to you. Stay strong and stay safe.
Thank you. Same to you, too.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.